You might think drinking a big glass of plain water before bed is one of the healthiest things you can do. But what if I told you that after the age of 60, that very habit could be the reason you're staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning every single night? It seems like such a responsible thing to do, doesn't it? Hydration is key. It's what every doctor and health expert has told us for decades. We're taught to see water as a symbol of purity and health, a nightly ritual to cleanse the body and prepare for a restful sleep. So you have your glass of water, turn off the lights, and feel good about your choice. But then, like clockwork, that familiar pressure builds, and your peaceful sleep is shattered. But here is a truth that might surprise you. That glass of plain water contains almost nothing to help your body actually hold on to that hydration. It's missing the key electrolytes, like sodium and potassium, that act as gatekeepers, allowing water to get inside your cells where it's needed. Instead, it can act like a flash flood through your system, putting a tremendous and unnecessary strain on your kidneys and bladder, forcing them to work overtime while you're trying to rest. In this video, I am going to walk you through the 5 real reasons you're waking up at night. We will uncover the hidden culprits that have very little to do with that simple glass of water. And the number 1 reason, the one we'll save for last, doesn't just explain why you're waking up. It also reveals a simple technique you can do before bed to not only sleep through the night, but also help reduce leg and ankle swelling. So stay with me until the very end, because the solution to your broken sleep could begin tonight. And before we dive in, if you're ready to finally reclaim your deep, uninterrupted sleep, please take a moment to press that like button right now. It's a small click for you, but it truly helps our message reach more wonderful people who need to hear it. Also, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our vital health tips that I share from years of research and experience. And finally, drop a comment below telling us where you're watching from. I absolutely love connecting with our global health family. So the problem isn't necessarily drinking at night. It's about understanding the whole picture. It's about what you're drinking, what you're eating, and even what your body is doing long before your head hits the pillow. Let's break down the 5 biggest culprits behind that nightly trip to the bathroom. We'll start with the most obvious and work our way down to the most powerful and often overlooked cause at the end. Let's begin with number 5 on our list, the wrong kind of evening drink, your nightly flush. We've already touched on this, but it's worth repeating and expanding upon. The issue isn't just the volume of liquid, but its composition. When you drink plain, filtered, or distilled water, it's hypotonic. This means it has a lower concentration of solutes, like salt and potassium, than the fluids inside your cells. Your body, in its infinite wisdom, strives for balance, a state called homeostasis. When it detects this rush of plain water, it thinks, whoa, everything is getting diluted out here. To protect the delicate balance of your blood and cells, it signals the kidneys to work immediately and expel the excess water as quickly as possible. The result? Your bladder fills up rapidly. This is why you can drink a glass of water and feel the need to urinate just 30 to 45 minutes later. You're not actually hydrating your body effectively. You're just flushing it out and taking valuable electrolytes with it. And this isn't just a theory. Think about it from a biological standpoint. A 2015 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition looked at the hydration index of various beverages. They found that drinks containing a small amount of sugar, fat, or protein did a better job of hydrating the body over a 4-hour period than plain water. Why? Because these components slow down the emptying of the stomach, and more importantly, the electrolytes they contain help the body retain the fluid. Milk, for example, was found to be more hydrating than water because of its natural balance of sodium, potassium, and lactose. Now, I'm not suggesting you drink a glass of milk, but it illustrates the principle perfectly. So what's the actionable advice here? The how-to is incredibly simple. If you must drink something in the 90 minutes before bed, transform your water from a flush into a hydrator. Add a tiny pinch of high-quality, unrefined sea salt or pink Himalayan salt to your glass of water. We're not talking about enough to taste it, just a few crystals. This adds back the crucial minerals that help water get absorbed by your cells. You can also add a small squeeze of lemon juice, which contains potassium. This simple act turns your water from hypotonic to isotonic, making it much more structurally similar to your body's own fluids. You'll find that a smaller amount, say 4 to 5 ounces of this balanced water, satisfies your thirst without sending you running to the bathroom. Now, I'm curious, what is your go-to beverage in the evening? Is it plain water, tea, or something else? Share your routine in the comments below. All right, moving on to number 4. This one is particularly important for us men, but it affects women as well. Incomplete bladder emptying, the lingering problem. You go to the bathroom right before turning in for the night. You feel like you've completely emptied your bladder. But have you, really? For many people, especially as we age, the bladder doesn't fully void. This leaves a small amount of residual urine behind. It might not seem like much, maybe an ounce or two, but here's the problem. Your bladder doesn't start from zero. It starts with a handicap. As your kidneys continue to produce urine throughout the night, that residual amount means your bladder reaches its gotta-go capacity much, much faster. Waking up at 2 a.m. might not be because you produced a full bladder's worth of urine, but because you started the night with a bladder that was already a quarter full. The science behind this is related to changes in our bodies over time. For men, the prostate gland, which sits right below the bladder, can enlarge with age. This condition, benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, is extremely common. The enlarged prostate can press on the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of the body, creating a slight obstruction. It's like pinching a garden hose. The flow is weaker, and it's harder to get all the water out. For both men and women, the bladder muscle itself, known as the detrusor muscle, can lose some of its tone and strength. It doesn't contract as forcefully, leaving that residual urine behind. There is plenty of evidence for this. Urological studies consistently show that post-void residual volume increases with age. The American Urological Association notes that while a residual volume of under 50 milliliters is considered normal, amounts over 100 to 200 milliliters are a clear indicator of incomplete emptying and a major contributor to nocturia, the medical term for waking at night to urinate. This isn't a rare condition. It's a physiological reality for a significant portion of the adult population. So what can you do about it? Here's the how-to. First, practice what's known as double voiding. It's simple. After you urinate, remain on the toilet for another 30 to 60 seconds. Then lean forward slightly and try to urinate again. You may be surprised that a little more comes out. This second attempt can help expel that residual urine. Second, never rush. Give yourself time. When you rush, you tense your pelvic muscles, which can constrict the urethra. Relax. Take a deep breath and let your body do its job completely. For men, sitting down to urinate rather than standing can also help relax the pelvic floor and thigh muscles, facilitating a more complete emptying of the bladder. This is a simple mechanical trick that costs nothing and can make a world of difference. Have you ever heard of the double voiding technique before? Let me know in the comments. This brings us to culprit number 3, the late heavy dinner, your digestive burden. What you eat, and more importantly, when you eat, has a direct impact on your sleep and your bladder. When you consume a large, heavy meal close to bedtime, you're tasking your body with a massive digestive project. right when it's supposed to be powering down for repair and rest. Digestion requires significant blood flow to the stomach and intestines. It also requires a lot of water. Your body will pull fluid from other areas to create the necessary digestive juices. Furthermore, a full stomach can put physical pressure on your bladder, reducing its capacity and making you feel the urge to go sooner. But it's not just about the size of the meal, it's also about the ingredients. Many common and seemingly healthy foods are natural diuretics, meaning they make your body produce more urine. A big, healthy salad for dinner? Great choice, but if it's full of things like celery, cucumber, parsley, bell peppers, or asparagus, you're consuming a cocktail of diuretics. That glass of wine or beer you have with dinner is also a powerful diuretic, as is any form of caffeine, including that in chocolate or some decaf teas. Even spicy foods can irritate the bladder lining for some people, increasing the sense of urgency and frequency. The science is straightforward. Certain foods and drinks inhibit a hormone called ADH, or antidiuretic hormone. As the name suggests, this hormone's job is to tell your kidneys to conserve water, especially at night. Alcohol and caffeine are notorious for suppressing ADH. When ADH levels drop, your kidneys get a green light to produce more urine, a condition known as diuresis. So your late-night meal could be creating a perfect storm: physical pressure on the bladder, a high demand for water for digestion, and diuretic ingredients that are chemically signaling your kidneys to flush your system. A 2013 study in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found a strong correlation between food intake and sleep patterns. They noted that high saturated fat and sugar intake, common in heavy evening meals, was associated with lighter, less restorative sleep and more awakenings. While the study focused on overall sleep quality, the mechanism overlaps perfectly with nocturnal urination. A how-to here is a rule of timing and content. The golden rule is to finish your last big meal of the day at least 3 hours before you plan to go to sleep. This gives your body ample time to complete the major stages of digestion. Keep that evening meal the lightest of the day. Think lean protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates that are easy to digest. And be mindful of those diuretic foods. It doesn't mean you can never have them. But perhaps it's better to enjoy asparagus with lunch rather than dinner. What time do you typically eat your evening meal? Are you an early bird or a late-night snacker? I'd be interested to see the different habits in our community. Now for number 2, a factor that most people would never even consider. Cold extremities, your internal radiator. Have you ever noticed that you feel the need to urinate more often when you're cold? This is not your imagination. When your hands and feet get cold, your body initiates a clever survival mechanism. It's called peripheral vasoconstriction. Your body senses the cold on your skin and thinks, "Danger, we need to protect the vital organs." To do this, it constricts the blood vessels in your extremities, your hands, feet, arms, and legs, to reduce blood flow to the surface and pull that warm blood inward to your core, protecting your heart, lungs, and kidneys. This is a brilliant strategy for survival, but it has an interesting side effect. By shunting all that blood from the periphery to the core, you are effectively increasing the fluid volume and pressure within the central part of your circulatory system. Your brain and kidneys detect this rise in central blood pressure and interpret it as fluid overload. The kidneys respond by saying, "Okay, there's too much pressure in here. We need to lighten the load." They begin to filter more blood and produce more urine to reduce the overall fluid volume and bring the pressure back to normal. This phenomenon is called cold-induced diuresis. So if you go to bed with icy feet, you are sending a continuous signal to your body to pull blood to the core, which in turn signals your kidneys to produce urine. You are essentially creating a self-inflicted reason to wake up and go to the bathroom. Your cold feet are directly telling your bladder to fill up, This isn't just a quaint old wives' tale. It's established physiology. Research on thermoregulation and renal function has documented this process extensively. For example, studies on people exposed to cold environments consistently show a significant increase in urine output that is not related to how much fluid they consumed. Your body is simply trying to regulate its internal pressure in response to the external temperature. The same principle applies on a smaller scale when you're lying in a cool bedroom with cold feet. The how-to for this is perhaps the most comfortable and enjoyable of all. You need to keep your extremities warm. The simplest way is to wear warm, breathable socks to bed. Choose natural fibers like wool or cotton, not synthetic ones that can make your feet sweat and then feel cold. Another wonderful technique is to take a warm bath about 90 minutes before bed. This not only warms your entire body, but also helps signal to your brain that it's time to sleep. As your body cools down after the bath, it mimics a natural temperature drop that promotes sleepiness. You can also use a hot water bottle placed at the foot of your bed to create a warm, cozy environment for your feet all night long. So I have to ask the big question. Are you a socks in bed person, or do you prefer bare feet? This is always a great debate. Let me know your side in the comments. And now, we have arrived at the number one reason you are waking up at night. This is the one that for many people is the biggest game changer. It happens silently all day long, and you pay the price for it at night. The number one reason is daytime fluid redistribution, the gravity effect. Throughout the day, as you stand and walk around, a powerful and relentless force is acting on your body. Gravity. Gravity is constantly pulling fluid downward. Over the course of many hours, a significant amount of water from your bloodstream seeps out of your capillaries and pools in the tissues of your lower body, particularly your ankles and legs. This is known as peripheral edema. You might notice it as slightly swollen ankles at the end of the day, or the indentation your socks leave on your skin. For many, it's so subtle they don't even notice it. Here is the crucial part. When you finally lie down in bed, gravity is no longer pulling that fluid down into your legs. The game changes. That pooled fluid, which could be a pint or even more, now has an easy path back into your circulatory system. Over the first few hours of sleep, this fluid gets reabsorbed into your veins. Your kidneys suddenly detect a massive surge in blood volume, the same surge they would detect if you had just chugged a huge bottle of water. And they do what they are designed to do. They switch into high gear to filter out all of this new fluid to restore balance. This massive, delayed processing of daytime fluid is what sends you to the bathroom at 1, 2, or 3 a.m. You are not peeing out what you just drank. You are peeing out the fluid that has been sitting in your legs all day long. The science behind this is called nocturnal polyuria, and it is recognized by medical experts as the single leading cause of having to wake up to urinate, especially in people over 50. Studies published in journals like the Journal of Urology have used body composition measurements to show a direct correlation between the amount of fluid shift from the legs to the torso after lying down and the volume of urine produced overnight. It's a clear, mechanical process. Fluid down during the day, fluid back in at night, and the bladder pays the price. So what is the revolutionary how-to for this? It's profoundly simple and effective. You need to let this fluid redistribution happen before you go to sleep. About 1 to 2 hours before your bedtime, lie down on a sofa or your bed and elevate your legs. You can prop them up on a few pillows or put them up against a wall. Keep them elevated above the level of your heart. Stay like this for at least an hour. Read a book, listen to music, talk with your partner. During this time, gravity will help that pooled fluid from your legs drain back into your circulation. Your kidneys will then start their work while you are still awake and comfortable. You will likely feel the need to urinate once or even twice, before you go to bed for the night. By doing this, you are essentially pre-processing your daytime fluid accumulation, leaving your bladder much quieter for the rest of the night. As a preventative measure during the day, wearing compression socks can also help prevent so much fluid from pooling in the first place. This single habit can be absolutely life-changing. It directly addresses the most significant physiological cause of nighttime urination for millions of people. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This is all great, but I get thirsty at night. And if I drink, won't I still have to get up to pee all the time? That's a very valid concern. Don't worry, there are a few simple rules to drink at night without sabotaging your sleep. Here are 5 simple rules to avoid that. Number 1, volume. If you are thirsty, drink a small amount, no more than 4 to 5 ounces, which is about 150 milliliters. Number 2, timing. Have your last drink at least 60 to 90 minutes before your head hits the pillow for the night. This gives your body time to process it. Number 3, composition. As we discussed in our first point, don't drink plain water. Add a tiny pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon to make it more absorbable. Number 4, sip, don't gulp. Sipping slowly allows for better absorption and puts less sudden pressure on your kidneys. And number 5, front load your hydration. Make a conscious effort to drink the majority of your water during the morning and early afternoon. Don't try to play catch-up at night. So, my friends, today we talked about more than just avoiding water. We talked about how to work with your body, not against it. We talked about using small, wise steps, like changing when you eat, wearing socks to bed, and elevating your legs to reclaim the deep, restorative sleep that you truly deserve. This isn't about restriction, it's about understanding. I'm not asking you to change your whole life overnight. Just pick the one tip that resonated with you the most. Maybe it's the idea of elevating your legs. Just try that one thing tonight. Observe how you feel for just 3 nights. Small, consistent changes are what lead to profound results. Which one of these 5 tips will you try first? Let me know your choice in the comments. I'm really curious to see which one stood out to you. And if this video gave you a sense of clarity or hope, just do me a favor and type the word HOPE in the comments below. And of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we can continue this health journey together and you don't miss what's coming next. Take care, may your nights be quiet and your mornings bright. I'll see you in the next video.